Welcome back to One English Cloud. Today we are going to learn the lesson Oliver Asks for More from second unit of 8th class English. This is an extract from the novel Oliver Twist written by the British novelist Charles Dickens. It is the story of an orphan boy named Oliver who is brought to a children's home. Mr. Bumble walked on with long strides. Little Oliver, firmly grasping his gold-laced cuff, trotted beside him. Oliver had not been within the walls of the workhouse for 15 minutes when Mr. Bumble informed him that the board had asked Oliver to appear before it immediately. Not having a clear idea of what a live board was, Oliver was rather astonished by this information and was not quite sure whether he ought to laugh or cry. He had no time to think about the matter. Mr. Bumble asked Oliver to follow him into a large whitewashed room, where 8 or 10 fat gentlemen were sitting round a table. Particularly a fat gentleman with a very round and red face was sitting at the top of the table, in an armchair, rather higher than the rest. "Bow to the board," said Bumble. Oliver wiped away 2 or 3 tears that were lingering in his eyes, and seeing no board but the table, bowed to that. "What's your name, boy?" said the gentleman in the high chair. Oliver was frightened at the sight of so many gentlemen, which made him tremble. The beadle gave him a tap on his back with his cane, which made him cry. "Boy," said the gentleman in the high chair, "listen to me. You know you're an orphan." "What's that, sir?" inquired poor Oliver. "As I thought, the boy is a fool," said the gentleman in the white waistcoat. "You know you've got no father or mother, and that you were brought up by a church committee, weren't you?" said the gentleman who had spoken first. "Yes, sir," replied Oliver, weeping bitterly. "What are you crying for?" inquired the gentleman in the white waistcoat. "I hope you say your prayers every night," said another gentleman in a gruff voice, "and pray for the people who feed you and take care of you, like a Christian." "Yes, sir," stammered the boy. "Well, you have come here to be educated and taught a useful trade," said the red-faced gentleman in the high chair. "So you'll begin to pick oakum tomorrow morning at 6 o'clock, added the surly one in the white waistcoat. Oliver bowed low, directed by the beadle, and was then hurried away to a large ward, where, on a rough, hard bed, he sobbed himself to sleep. Poor Oliver! As he lay sleeping, unconscious of everything around him, the board had taken a decision that would change the course of his life. The members of this board were very wise and philosophical. They discovered that the workhouse had become the regular place of entertainment for the poor people. It was the place where they had free breakfast, tea, and supper all the year round, where it was all play and no work. They thought that the poor should be given only 2 options, either to starve quickly outside the workhouse, or gradually inside the house. So they decided that the inmates of the workhouse would be issued 3 meals of thin gruel a day, with an onion twice a week. For the first 6 months after Oliver Twist was moved in, the system was in full operation. As a result, the number of workhouse inmates got smaller, and the inmates themselves shrank in size and became thinner. The room in which the boys were fed was a large stone hall, with a big copper ball at one end, out of which the master, dressed in an apron, and assisted by 1 or 2 women, served the gruel at mealtime. Each boy had 1 basinful, and no more, except on the occasion of great public rejoicing, when he had 2 ounces and a quarter of bread besides. The boys cleaned the basins till they shone again, so they never required washing. Then they would sit, staring at the copper ball with eager eyes, as if they could have eaten the big ball itself. At the same time, they sucked their fingers most carefully to catch any gruel that might have been left. Boys have generally excellent appetites. Oliver Twist and his companions suffered the tortures of slow starvation for 3 months. At last, They got so wild with hunger that one boy hinted to his companions that he was afraid of eating someone who slept next to him if he did not have another basin of gruel. He had wild and hungry eyes, and they believed him. A meeting was held, lots were cast to decide who should walk up to the master after supper and ask for more, and it fell to Oliver Twist. The evening arrived, and the boys took their places. The master, in his cook's uniform, positioned himself at the copper bowl, his assistants arranged themselves behind him, the gruel was served out. The gruel disappeared. The boys whispered to each other and winked at Oliver, while his next neighbors pushed him. He was desperate with hunger and reckless with misery. He rose from the table and advancing to the master, basin and spoon in hand, said, "Please, sir, I want some more." The master was a fat and healthy man, but he turned pale. He gazed in astonishment at Oliver for some seconds and then clung for support to the copper. The assistants were paralyzed with wonder and the boys with fear. "What?" said the master at length, in a faint voice. "Please, sir," replied Oliver, "I want some more." The master aimed a blow at Oliver's head and shrieked aloud for the beadle. The board was sitting in a serious meeting when Mr. Bumble rushed into the room in great excitement and said to the gentleman in the high chair, "Mr. Limpkins, excuse me, Oliver Twist has asked for more." Everyone suddenly felt very scared, and shock showed clearly on all their faces. "For more," said Mr. Limpkins. "Compose yourself, Mr. Bumble, and answer me clearly. Did he ask for more?" "Yes, sir, he did," replied Bumble. "That boy will be hung," said the gentleman in the white waistcoat. Nobody opposed the prophetic gentleman's opinion. An excited discussion took place. Oliver was ordered into instant confinement, and the next morning, a bill was pasted on the outside of the gate. It offered a reward of £5 to anybody who would take Oliver Twist as an apprentice to any trade or business. Hope you found this video helpful. Don't forget to attempt the online quiz. It helps you assess your understanding. Link is available in the description. Thanks for watching.